INFJ is intuitive,
introverted, feeling,
and judging. They are supportive companions. They are devoted people.
They look at things from a point of view that most people may not understand. South Africa was going through apartheid. A section for the whites, you have a section for the blacks. And actually most of the time you would find the blacks used to stand in the buses. Nelson Mandela, he stood against apartheid.
One people, one nation. He was so brave against racial prejudice.
He had charisma. He was good in communication. When the people were looking at him, they were like, if he's this honest, why don't we follow him?
Karibuni watazamaji kwa kipindi chetu cha leo On Fire, and from our previous show we looked at some personalities, and we looked at one personality called INFP, who was the healer, a thoughtful person. We also looked at another personality, ESTP, at the dynamo. These are dynamic persons. We also looked at ESTJ. I'm not alone in the show today. Kama kawaida, we have Alphie on set here. Karibu.
Asante kama kawaida.
Kama kawaida.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Alphie, today we are going to look at...
Today I think we are going to look at three personalities.
Yeah, we are going to look at three personalities. Yes.
I think today we are going to start, I'll start from the other side. We are going to start with the counselor. Who's this counselor? What personality trait is this counselor?
We're going to see who is this person.
Yes.
I think this counselor is an INFJ.
INFJ, yes,
He's an
exactly.
INFJ.
Yes.
He's intuitive.
Introverted. Yes. Feeling.
And judging.
Exactly.
Yes. They are supportive companions. They are devoted people to help other people. They are people who are very insightful.
So basically that means they look at things from a point of view that most people may not understand.
Yes.
Yeah?
Because they are very insightful. You see, they are feeling, they are introverted.
Yeah. And they are judging. So basically when you combine everything, I believe these are people, they focus on a goal.
Yeah, and when they focus on it,
yes,
they focus on it kabisa such that they might find a solution to it. Or they want to see at the end what will come out. What will come out
of whatever they're doing. Wow, this is interesting. Okay, I believe we're going to have examples.
We are going to look at, I believe, two examples.
Two examples.
Of the INFJ characters.
All right. So the first example, we look at Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela.
We start from Africa.
From our own place
All
in
right.
Africa. Yes. And we see who Nelson Mandela is, how he portrayed himself with them, and how he became a leader in South Africa.
All right.
Yes.
So I believe, briefly you can just tell, Nelson Mandela was the first black president of South Africa. Yeah, because prior to that, I believe if you look at the history of South Africa, you notice South Africa was going through apartheid. Yeah, so basically there was total racial discrimination.
Total.
You are white, black or colored, period.
Yeah.
Or Asian. I believe that was it.
Black or white?
Colored. Nothing else.
That's what we call it.
Yeah, so basically that was apartheid, and that is what Nelson Mandela was fighting against.
He fought really against it.
I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the idea of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunity. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and to achieve.
Yes, and at the end of it all, actually he ended up spending 27 years in jail.
Yeah, because of fighting for it and fighting for people to have this common interracial relationships.
Exactly. And you see even back then, one thing that was also there, or one of the other things that was there, is that even in schools, there were schools for whites, there were schools for blacks. So these guys never used to mix. If you're using transportation, public transportation, you have a seat for the whites, a section for the whites, you have a section for the blacks. And actually most of the time you would find the blacks used to stand in the buses.
It's true. They never had a place in their own hometown, their own country.
Yes. Exactly. So basically Nelson Mandela stood against all this. So he wanted basically the entire country to become one. It didn't matter what color you are.
It's true.
It's true. So it didn't matter you're white, you're black, you're colored. No. Basically you are a South African. For him,
you're one nation.
Yes. So for him, he stood against apartheid.
One people, one nation.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I don't know, what are some of his character traits?
He was so brave. He was this person who was so brave to fight against this racial prejudice, and he had to be so brave to go against people who didn't want people to mix.
Yes, exactly. And now something else about Nelson Mandela that you realize about his personality. He had charisma. He was good in communication.
Very good.
So he was able to move the crowds, the masses. He was able to send his message clearly, what he was saying.
To those who didn't like him, to those who liked him.
Yes, and then something else is that he was also very honest. He was brutally honest.
Will your economy be based on the Marxist system, socialism, or capitalism, or both?
I knew that was the question you wanted to ask. I am happy that you have had the courage to put it directly.
Yeah, he was honest and determined.
Yes,
whatever he wanted to sell out to people, was determined to do it and wanted it to come.
Yes, and you see, he used his honesty to bring his people together. Because now when the people were looking at him, they were like, this man is honest. So if he's this honest, why don't we follow him?
It's true.
Yeah. So, and you see, this honesty also brought up an issue of morality. He stood up for what he believed in.
What he believed was true and what was right.
Yes. And something else again is that he inspired the people to attain, basically to attain better principles, to move I would say in a way that you know is right. You don't take shortcuts. I want this is the path I'm supposed to follow, and he was willing to go forward for it. And actually, if you remember part of his I would say sentencing, when he was being sentenced before he was taken to jail, I remember he said something like he's ready to die.
But if needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die.
For the principles he believes in.
It's true.
So he knew, now these guys are going to hang me. This is the end of the road, so let me just say what I need to say. And actually that speech lasted 3 hours before he was sentenced. So you can imagine giving the court a lecture for 3 hours, then you are waiting to be sentenced to death. And then the judge decided, no way, you're going in for life.
Yeah. We're going to keep you alive, but you're going in.
Yes.
Yeah. So he had a strong sense of personal integrity.
But for anybody who changes his principles depending on whom he is dealing, that is not a man who can lead a nation.
Yes.
His morals, he believed what he believed in, and he was determined to send it across to people, whether they liked it or not.
Yes.
Whether they were for it or not.
Yes.
But he knew at the end, this is my end goal.
Yes.
I'm going to move with my values.
Yes.
And I'm going to stop this racial thing.
Yes. And you see, based on, actually on what you're saying, actually one thing about him is that he believed in building relationships and trust among his people.
Among his people.
So you see, people actually ended up associating with him. And you see, from the point where he was jailed up to the point where South Africa actually got independence, or basically they got their first black president, for them they were determined. One thing they wanted is Nelson Mandela should be free.
Should be free.
Now that was the goal. So because this is the only person they know who can deliver what they want.
What they want.
Yes.
This person who really understood them.
Yes.
And is bringing a better future for them.
Yes.
And they really believed in him, and they wanted him out.
Yes. And you see, by the time he was becoming a president, he actually brought up a principle that was very rare actually in Africa, which today I think is still rare, where you have a servant leadership. Because for Africans, we believe you're a leader, you're a leader.
You're leading from the front.
Yes.
With the swearing in of Nelson Mandela as this African nation's first black president.
So help me God. We pledge ourselves to liberate all our people from the continuing bondage of poverty, deprivation, suffering, gender, and other discrimination.
You're just a leader.
A leader, that's the end of it. But you see, Nelson Mandela brought the aspect of a servant leadership. I'm a servant. I'm supposed to be your servant to lead you.
I'm serving you by leading you.
Exactly.
So you're leading from the back.
From behind,
Yeah,
exactly.
from behind.
Yes, but you see, I think that's also something else that actually brought up this character. So as much as he was introverted and he was intuitive, he was feeling and judging. So he could pull back, but he could sense what his people wanted.
He was sensing. He knew.
Yes.
He knew this is what my people want.
Yes.
Yeah,
and based on that, and based on those feelings, he was able to make judgments. And say, and also something else that's very interesting about Nelson Mandela is after he served his term as president, when they wanted him to come back for the second term, he refused.
He refused.
Then I should say, I now announce that I'm retiring.
He told them, I've done my job. Now it's up to you.
He knew he has done what he needed to do.
Exactly.
His purpose in life, he had fulfilled it.
Exactly.
He had made the nation become a better
nation.
and a better people.
Yes.
Yes.
So you can see now apartheid is no longer there. The country has become one. Now they just need to grow.
And he knew this my time is come.
Yes.
They needed a new person to take.
And then yes, the
the
new
baton
blood.
and
Exactly.
do new things.
Yes, because for him his job was very simple. I'm against apartheid.
This is
it.
This is me. This is it.
Yes, I've done it. South Africa has become one nation. I've done it.
I have achieved.
Yes. So
And
now it's for the next
another
person,
yes.
to build from there.
From there.
That's
And
Nelson Mandela.
This is true humility.
Yes.
Leading from
Behind.
behind. Being
Exactly.
a servant and being a
A
leader.
leader at the same time.
And helping people
Yes.
by this one goal that he knew he wanted to achieve.
Yes,
This is
and
awesome.
you see, at the end of it all, he was actually given the Nobel Peace Prize.
He was.
With the former president, de Klerk, by then. They were given the Nobel Peace Prize because at the end of the day, they had been able to dismantle something that had taken root in South Africa.
For quite a long time.
Exactly, exactly. So I believe Nelson Mandela is a true picture of the INFJ.
Very true.
Yeah,
Somebody
personality.
who had a vision of making their nation become a better place for people, and he did that.
Exactly.
And he achieved
And
it.
he achieved it. All right. That's Nelson Mandela.
That's Nelson Mandela.
Yes.
Our next example of the INFJ personality is Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman, the man with the voice.
Yeah, the man with the deep voice.
Yes, I think everybody knows the voice. You can't miss that voice,
Yes,
no matter what.
He's an actor.
All right.
He's a film producer.
Okay. Who has, but then he's been in the acting industry for I think over 50 years.
Yes, for quite a long time.
But you know the interesting thing about Morgan Freeman, I don't think most people can relate with him, the younger version.
The younger version, I also don't.
I've seen this guy as an old man. So every
All
movie,
through.
yes, all through. So every movie, every documentary I've seen, I've not seen a younger version of the same. But the interesting thing about Morgan Freeman, which actually is would I say is a sign of the personality trait he has, is the determination.
Yes.
Because you can imagine acting for close to 50 years
And not wavering.
and not wavering, and so until you get to that point, you achieve that goal. It has taken him a lot.
He knew his goal. He was optimistic about it.
Yes.
And determined.
And idealistic.
Yes, he's
So
quite idealistic.
he's idealistic, so he knew what he wanted. So he focuses on those. And the beauty about this particular personality trait, I think, is that most of these guys, you realize, they focus on their goals.
They focus on it.
Yeah, so he knew, I'm gonna do acting, and that's it.
And that's
in
it.
fact, there was something I watched he did. There was a motivation talk he gave, and he said he doesn't know anything else. He knows acting.
He has perfected it.
Yes. So for him, he knew he would make it and make it. That was it.
It doesn't matter by what year
Yes.
I make it, but
Yes.
this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to bring the change to my world
Yes.
through it.
Yes.
And that's what he's done.
That is what he's done. Now, when you look at the INFJ, these people are introverted.
They're introverted.
But now when you look at Morgan Freeman, the personality, you would actually think he's an extroverted person.
But he's quite reserved.
He's very
quite
exactly. He's
introverted.
quite reserved. So it's actually this reservation most people will not notice because of what he does, because of the acting. You see, when you become an actor, basically that means you're out there.
You're always on the
screen,
TV, on the screens.
So people will not get you being an introvert. But actually, Morgan Freeman is an introvert, quite reserved.
Quite reserved.
Yes. Then he's also adaptive. I
Yeah.
believe being an actor, I think that's one requirement, I believe. Because for you to be an actor, you also need to be able to adapt to the different roles.
Different roles, yeah.
That you're doing. And then you see for him, he's done movies, he's done series, he's done documentaries. All these things require adaptation and quick adaptation, I believe, for you to be really good at what you've done. And I believe he's gotten quite a number of awards, I think.
Yeah, he has won awards. He's quite achieved.
Achieved.
We cannot finish naming all of them. He's quite achieved.
He's quite achieved.
Yes,
So
yes.
Morgan Freeman is also another example of the INFJ.
He's another example
All
of
right.
the INFJ. This was awesome.
This was great. I hope our audience have learned something. Make sure you leave a comment behind behind there.
We are looking out, we're watching to see your comments.
Yes.
We are eager to see.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Subscribe, please subscribe.
Fyetuka TV.
With yours, Tabby.
Yes. Alphie, as usual. It was nice having you.